Hello and welcome to the Quever channel. I'm Jason, your host. Why am I not stressed or bothered by the new powers that the government is giving to the DWP? First of all, these powers will allow them to basically snoop into people's bank accounts even more. They already had these powers, but they didn't activate a lot of them. They didn't use them a lot, but they already had the powers to check on your bank accounts if you were on receipt of benefits. And your bank already had the powers and the setup that if you're on benefits and suspicious activities in your bank, that they could inform the DWP. This is just a broadening of it. And while a lot of people are going on about privacy and intrusion and all that kind of thing, we need something like this. Sadly we do, because there is a lot of people who are just like we need reform of the PIP system. We don't want it reformed into a bad system, but both the PIP system and the DWP system is hemorrhaging money due to fake claims, due to lying people, due to people who are misusing the system. And I know this is a slippery slope, and I'm not blind to the problems. I'm not naive to it, but I already notify the DWP and my bank of any change in money going into my accounts, because I am on benefits, because I am on disability. I am proactive if anything happens. Hell, even when I sell my, remember, when it comes to my disability, a lot of my stuff, technology helps me to cope. It's part of my treatment. It's in my medical records. It's all there to show that virtual reality and all of this helps me deal with my problems instead of medication. So I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I didn't inform the bank. What do I mean by that? If there's going to be a change in my bank account, if some money's going to go into my bank account, and that, for example, the inheritance from my mum that went in my bank account and instantly went out to all these different, to pay the solicitor's bills and everything else. I knew that I could have just left it, been passive about it, but that didn't really mesh with me, because I wouldn't be able to sleep at night thinking about it. My brain grabs onto these things and use them as ammunition. So instead, whenever a situation like this happens, I ring up my bank. I let them know to put a note on my account that this amount of money is going into my bank account. It's different from the norm. It's not to do with my benefits. I'm not getting paid for something. It's not a thing. It's just stuff that happens. The same thing happens when I sell some stuff on eBay. If it reaches a certain amount, I will preemptively contact my bank and say, hey, there's some unusual money going into my bank account that isn't normal. Can we just just put a note on my account, and then I'll ring up the DWP, and if I think that it's an amount of money they need to know about, and explain this is me just selling some of my disabled aids, even though they're computers, even though they're laptops, even though they're bits of technology, they're disabled aids. They're aids to look after me and my disability. And so I ring them up and say, listen, if it flags up that this extra money's gone into my account, this is where it's come from, and this is what it's going to be used on. Now, some would say I shouldn't have to do that, and I do it for my own peace of mind, because I know it could look strange. It's like when I was last year, the beginning of last year, and when I was repairing the damage to this house, when money had to come out of my mum's accounts into my accounts to pay workmen to fix the house up, to stop it basically becoming a house that was unlivable. Whenever that happened, I always kept all the bank accounts and everything informed that why it was going on and why this money was going into my account and going straight out. To me, it's always been a normal part of me being on benefits. Because I know how it looks when people see my technology. When people look at there's certain people out there that look at what I've got, my virtual reality, my arcade machine behind me, and all of those different things that I have in this room, and they think, oh, I can't afford that. Whenever people say that to me, it's strange to me, because first of all, I am on very little money into the house. I have the money I get, apart from the money to food and things like that, is set aside specifically to aid me in surviving and living. That's what the disability payments are for. That's what they're in. And that means that they can be used for anything that will help me to cope. Any coping strategies. It's like that Legends Ultimate arcade behind me is not there for when I want to have a game and something and that. It helps settle my brain when bad things happen and my brain, and I'm getting very depressed, or I can't cope anymore, and all of my normal coping strategies don't work. I turn my Legends Ultimates, switch it over to Space Invaders, and with the tactile feel of it and holding those controllers, I can go back to 1978 and 1979, and I can give my brain a bit of peace. While I remember playing the first time ever on an arcade machine when I was like 9-10 years old, and it's part of my coping strategy. It is part of my disability aids. The same with everything I've got in this room, even though I'm downsizing and concentrating it all for reasons that I will explain later on in videos. Technology to me is not a hobby, it's a necessity. This is why everything I have has battery backup. And I'm always fighting against this and trying to adapt my system and say, should I keep this? Is it worth keeping this? Is this something that will help me, or is it just going to sit there? I've always got to adapt and fight and figure out and change my coping strategies. So just got to check that because someone's beeping me. So yeah, I don't have any fear or stress about any of these things that happen to do with the DWP, because and it is, for me, it is about not having anything to hide. I know it's, for some, it's a privacy thing, but privacy has been an illusion for a very long time. The tax services, the government, corporations, it's very hard not to have some footprint unless you want to actually limit what you can do. Yes, you can come off the internet, yeah, less you can thingy, but I don't want hassle. I find it so much more easier just to go with the flow, because I've only got limited bandwidth and I need to focus on what keeps me going every day. So yeah, some people will think, but it's not, that isn't stressing me particularly. Bye bye for now.